Hi, welcome to the show. Well, today I've brought in two of the, I would say, standard bearers and two of our most dedicated volunteers at Gallery Theater. And Seth Renne is here with me, and Carolyn McCloskey. Seth is now been promoted to theater manager after being a volunteer and director and
long time.
For a long time. And Carolyn, former chair of the board, member of the board, volunteer, director, actress, a long list, many years. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, of course. It's fun to be here.
Big news, big milestone at Gallery. What's happening?
We're going into our 50th anniversary season.
50 years.
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. We're very, very proud.
So that puts it back to
1968.
1968, 5 people got together and said, we need something here in this community. Maybe we should put on some shows during the summer. And from that, then developed a place to have it, which was the art gallery over at the new Renshaw Hall. And so they named it Gallery Theater. I think that's good for people to know where it started. And then eventually, in 1975, they found this building that we're in now. And then in 1980, they needed to add to it. They wanted to add to it. For those who've been in the building, they know the main stage. And then they've been in the arena, well, that was added. And the dance studio up above was added in 1980. So they had to perform someplace. They found a big building over in the fairgrounds, the Yamhill County Fairgrounds, and so they performed there for a year or so until they could come back into the building, and then we have what we have now. And I must say, because I work with a lot of other theaters through my organization of the Oregon Community Theater Alliance, put in a little plug there, but I know the theaters across Oregon, and we have one of the very special kinds of theaters. There's nobody else that has 2 theaters like we do, and I think that that's something
the costume loft
we should be very proud of. When we
2
have
theaters. Just break that down for us a little bit.
Well, we have the Arena Theater, which is the black box or smaller theater, and that seats what now, about 85?
86 is the most that we get in there right now.
Okay, and then we have the main stage. So we alternate our shows between the main stage, which are primarily musicals, or other shows that we know will bring in a big audience, like To Kill a Mockingbird and some things like that. And then the smaller shows are in the Arena Theater.
Yeah.
And then we have the costume room, of course, the huge costume room, and the dance studio. And, when people come in from other theaters and they look around and they see our theater, they can't believe what we have.
That's one of the most fun things about when we do host the
The
AACT, the American Association of Community Theaters One Act Festival, is just watching people's eyes light up when they walk into our building and tell us how lucky we are to have the space that we do. And it's a good reminder, because it's very easy to just get burdened down with the plumbing isn't working or the heating's broken again. And
Right.
to have people that are there reminding us, like, no, you are incredibly lucky, is really, really wonderful.
Yes, and we have the loft too,
Yeah.
so we can hold receptions there. I mean, there's so few theaters. I don't know another theater that has all of the different options we have, and so that makes it nice that we can host some things like this, like that One Act Fest that they have on every other year, and some other things too. The regionals, we hosted that too. So we have a space that can be used by a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So for 30 of those years or plus, we've been, I say we, I've spent some time.
You've been pretty involved
Yes.
over the years.
How many years were you the board president?
Yeah, it was a few.
So you know this.
We kept the roof on the building. I mean, and the plumbing working, and had to redo. Our lights are ready to be redone again. The theater lights, or we.
I know that they put a new.
There.
They had put in a new light system a few years back. We
good.
have a new state-of-the-art sound system. I believe it was like 2013 when that went in.
So, to be able to support the infrastructure has been an incredible effort. And most theaters, they don't last 50 years.
Yeah,
They run into a capital expense, and it can shut them down.
And we have been in the black for a long time. And it's due to the support we have from the community of
absolutely.
memberships lot to do with memberships and also ticket sales. But I think we have a roof thing going on now, don't we?
Yeah, we're putting a new
About the time
roof
we-
on the main stage.
Yeah, we're
It's
about
time
the
for
time
that.
we think that we're okay financially.
Something else
then
pops up.
That elevator that's so important to get some of our more mature people up and down from the top to the bottom is always costing a lot of
And
money.
after the elevator, it'll be one of the air conditioning units.
Well, it is, and then as
I
people
just
have
had Webster's
said,
out fixing the heat in the dance studio a couple weeks ago.
he
and-
knows full well. I think one of our big challenges that we're working on now for the 50th is to replace the chairs and the
Main stage,
seats in the
auditorium
main
seats.
stage. For the people
Wow.
who've been in those places and you sit for an hour or so in one seat, the show is enjoyable, but you definitely can feel we need new seats. They've been there a long time,
Yeah.
and so
Well, those seats went in, I believe, during the 80s renovation.
they did, yes.
And they were used when we got them.
Out of the
So,
movie theater.
and I believe they
There's
were.
a story that we don't know
I
how true it is.
don't,
but
I don't
go
know
ahead
the
and
whole
tell us
thing,
that.
but I was told recently that we actually acquired those seats because Frank Nelson, who is a longtime gallery supporter, and I believe he was
One
on
of
the
the
board,
original,
and
The dance studio
and
is
he-
named after him.
he was
The
the reason
Arena
that we
Theater
had
is
the
named
additional
Yeah.
space to the building there. So what I was told was that he saw either a couple of those chairs or a sign about them on the side of the road.
Or a truckload
Or a
with them?
truckload of them, and actually chased down the truck with the chairs to find out who owned them so we could find out how much it would cost for us to get them. And he did that all and brought them in and they
Yes,
put
it
them
didn't
in
happen by magic and mirrors.
No,
It
it's a
happened-
lot of hard
A lot
work.
of dedicated people. And the thing is that now, after 50 years, we're looking at needing that continued dedication,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for our people who love our theater to understand all of these things. I think that it takes a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
to keep up a theater that you own, and we own the theater,
Yeah.
so we have to pay these
That's another
these repairs.
thing that a lot of theaters don't have. They
No,
lease
very
their
few.
spaces. And so that's a lot of theaters end up closing because the rent will get too high or the landlord will change and decide to just kick them out. And we're not going to have that problem because we own the space.
Now, the mortgage is paid off?
I believe we will actually
Close
pay,
to it.
we will write the last check during our 50th anniversary season.
That's pretty amazing, really.
50 years and the house is paid off.
Well,
All right.
Yeah, but now we
is
can
great.
say we owned it. It is very special. You
Yeah.
can't believe some of the venues that other people are performing and doing wonderful job,
Yeah.
but I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
They
No,
perform
there's
in
great art and theater
libraries and
all over the place.
all
in
over.
the
Every
weirdest
town in
little
Oregon,
buildings.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yeah.
we're very lucky with the space we have.
So I think we need to really be proud of what we have here. I have a lot of pride in it, I know, and we're in this beautiful downtown. Of course, the downtown is getting more and more and more well-known, so to have a theater right down in this beautiful downtown is just a wonderful thing to have. And of course, a lot of it we want to keep promoting
Yeah.
so that our tourists and visitors who are coming to town know that we have this quality community theater here in town.
Well, there's a statistic between most theaters are 60-40 between ticket sales and the difference, right?
Yeah,
Tell us about that, Seth.
ticket sales account for about 60% of our annual budget. The remaining 40% comes from memberships and sponsorships and season ticket packages and all those things.
So we have a lot of participation. A lot of theaters are just the opposite of that. They get 40% from there, and they have to go out and find a lot more money. So the fact that we're so well attended and supported by the community, I think, is one of our strengths.
Yeah. We saw absolute record-breaking ticket sales with Shrek this past holiday season.
I was transported.
Was it not wonderful?
Oh my
It was so
gosh.
much fun.
The woman that played the
Fiona.
Fiona just stole my heart.
Yeah.
Well, you know where she's from. She's from Beaverton Civic Theater.
That's her home space.
That's her home space. They perform in the library in Beaverton. And
Oh,
I
oh,
had seen
my.
her in a musical that they performed for the
Yeah.
One Act Fest,
Yeah.
and she was just absolutely wonderful in that. But yeah, she was just perfect. I
And
just
on and on,
thought
our
that.
Yeah,
ogre,
she was great.
He just was.
So one of the nice things that's happening, we're doing a lot more networking, and we have a lot more people coming in to perform in our place
Yeah.
from other communities. So we're getting well known, and that's nice because it enhances, the quality of what we can do just because we have more choices
Yeah.
of.
And there's
people.
always opportunities for people that are just showing up at theater for the
Oh,
first time.
absolutely.
Like, I finally am going to do this, by golly.
Oh,
And
Yep.
there's newcomers are celebrated and given every chance.
Absolutely. We just had auditions for The Wizard of Oz, which will be our show coming up in March. And we have, I think it's out of the 38 people in the cast, I believe about half of them, this will be either their gallery debut or stage debut.
Or who's directing them?
I'm directing that
Okay.
one.
And so you did the auditions.
We did.
How many Dorothys did you have?
Oh my gosh.
No, really?
I had 64 people audition for this
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And probably at least a good third of those were
Yeah.
all girls wanting to be Dorothy.
You had 20
20
Dorothys.
probably,
Yeah.
about 20
that's not-
Dorothys or so.
Not easy to pick. I'm be excited to see who it is.
Yeah,
She
no,
must
when
be
we get ready
amazing.
she is. When we get ready to announce the cast, it's going to be really exciting. I'm very excited about the cast that we put together for that, but we can't actually announce who it is yet.
Okay.
Quite
okay.
yet.
Well, we've jumped ahead. Let's go to the season. You've got the 50th season. You put a lot of thought into what plays you want to
Yeah.
do. Tell us about the mindset, what you're going for, and what are the plays?
Okay, so our play selection committee is a group of, we have 7 people on the committee. They're all involved in the theater. There's a short application process to be a part of that committee. But we get together, we're already now talking about 2019. We started in September talking about what 2019 is going to look like. So when we sat down to discuss the 2018 season, we put together the concept of kind of a 2-part theme. So our 2018 season is part 1, which is looking back, and our 2019 season is part 2, which is looking forward. So our looking back section was to do 6 shows that we have already performed and a kind of nostalgic look back at our history. So we went through and tried to find 6 shows that we were excited to bring back, and I think we put together a pretty great season.
What brings up one question. So in 2019, we're going to do shows that we've never
6
done?
shows we've never performed before.
Okay.
So, and our goal is to have them be at least 2/3 of them written within the past 20 years.
Okay. Well, that's a challenge to have a season that doesn't include Music Man or Oliver or
Yeah.
those ones.
Well,
that
there's some really good
There's some
shows
great
we
stuff
have
we've
yet
never
to
done.
produce, though.
Okay.
I think
I'm-
there's
yeah.
some I've been pushing for
Yeah.
a long time.
I'm
And then
excited.
they say, "Do you want to direct it?" Well, actually, no. Musicals I've done, but I prefer to do the
The
arena
non-musicals.
theater.
Comedies.
But I want to say that one of the shows that's on this season is The God Game. And that was done in our Readers Theater,
Yeah.
Kaleidoscope, in the summer. And so this is an opportunity for new people, and we've had it happen over and over again. A new person comes in and says, well, I'm new in town. I just wanted to see what things were alike and give it a try. And then they step in and get a role in Readers. So it's not quite so involved with all the memorization and all the time commitment. And then they find that, yeah, okay, and we discover talent, and then they move on into, full shows. But we also get new directors, and Marla Nutman, that was her first chance to direct, and she proved herself, and we said, hey, okay, well, let's do
Let's
this
do it.
then in the full season. So that was something we started 6 years ago. Will this be our 7th
18 will
year?
be our 7th
You
year.
started.
Well, yeah.
I would say you did the,
It was an idea I had, but.
and then you followed it too.
I'm very pleased that it's turning out to be something that we had hoped it would be.
Yeah, definitely.
And now, of course, I'm very pleased to see this bring in the new talent and do what we wanted it to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that is something that was done in the summer and hasn't been done in other
a full season.
full seasons, but it's a great show. I loved it. I really loved it.
We're kind of jumping around, aren't we?
All right, yeah, so let's start at the
Top of
beginning.
season. When do we start?
So we opened January 19th with the Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. And we picked that show for a number of reasons, but one of them was that we performed that in our inaugural 1968 season.
Okay.
So we wanted to start it off with something that we did way back in the first year.
And that's cast.
That is cast.
And the director?
Ted Diesel will be directing it.
Oh, wow.
We've got,
Ted is
it's a
one of our
4-person cast.
Top directors.
We have two names that people that are familiar with gallery should
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
David Bates will be
yeah.
playing Tom, the narrator of the story. And then Holly Spencer is playing the mother, Amanda.
But we haven't seen Holly in a while.
She's been gone for about
because
10 years.
she had a child and didn't come back to us, and so she has been one of our top actresses. So this is going to be great to see
Yeah.
her on stage again.
Yeah. I'm really excited
Remember
to see
that
it.
one where
I
she
have my
broke
tickets
her
for
arm
opening
when-
night already.
What was the play? Were
You were
in that
directing
one?
it, and
Didn't
I
you
was
direct it?
backstage.
It was dinner with...
That was Dinner with Friends.
Dinner with Friends,
Threw her
and she
arm out of
fell so
socket.
hard on there. I was house managing that night, and she broke her arm, and we had to finally cancel the rest of the show.
Yeah.
That's true, that's
Yeah,
right.
Remember
you
that?
spent
People home
we
and
were
they
gonna
played
have
the
we had to
next
go with the
day.
we were
wheelchair.
gonna have a cast party at Debbie Harmon's house that night, and you and Holly and Galen were at the emergency room the
room.
entire time.
Okay, just started with stories. Anyway, yes,
Yeah, she
so
was
that's
back the
my
next
last
night.
one.
She
I
was
remember
back.
the Holly- She's
She's-
back.
she's
Holly's
an
back.
incredible
She
woman.
is marvelous.
Yeah.
That will be a very powerful
Yeah,
play.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be really
Yeah.
good. And then we have two new faces in that one also. Nathan Dillon is a Linfield student, and Lily Elliott is a performer out of Portland.
Let's talk more about Ted. He is our director's director. When people want to know about directing, we go
Kind
to
of send them to Ted.
Yeah. Taught at Linfield, taught at Chemeketa, professional drama teacher.
Yeah.
And we have him, and he comes in, of course, we're all of us are volunteers that are working on the plays. And he does that year after year after year. And so
Yeah,
Ted
and
is
he's
done.
directed some of what I would say are probably the most popular shows we've done over the past few years. He directed Driving Miss Daisy, which was a very popular show. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof was one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a long time. He directed our recent production of The Diary of Anne Frank. So he's done some
And he
pretty
does that
incredible work for
January
us.
slot usually.
He likes the January slot
because I
sometimes in the
take
spring.
the next one.
Yeah, usually go into the March,
Or
April
we
one.
go, and I take the comedy, and he takes the
drama.
The drama.
So Karen, we count on you for a show a year. Don't pretty much.
Well, last year I took a break.
Yeah,
It's the first
2017.
year I
How
haven't.
did we get by without you?
We did an entire season, 2017, we did not have Carolyn, myself, or Ted Diesel direct.
Yes.
Well, I guess that's good.
Well,
The way
that is
you got
good.
all these
It
other
was, that
directors.
was an intentional, we set out to
Yeah.
go, what, can we do an entire season without three of the people that usually do at least one show?
Yeah.
Carolyn has
So-
occasionally done more than one show in a season.
I did 2 shows that season, and the death trap is because we lost our director.
Lost a director.
Do you remember that? And so I said, okay, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
But I'm going to Cabo, so I won't be there for opening night or the run, except for, so I got to see it closing night, and the stage manager took over and ran the show the rest of the time. I left before dress rehearsal. But it was a good show.
It
Thank
turned
you.
out good. Yeah.
I enjoyed it, closing night.
Did you pack in all the right stuff for your trip? That must have been a little hectic.
Yeah, so I agreed to go ahead and direct this Sorted Lives because,
Are we
and that's
there
the
yet?
third one,
That's
but
the
we're
third.
not.
So we do
have to
have-
go back to
Okay.
cassette.
We have Wizard of Oz between the two.
And that's you.
And that's me. Wizard of Oz was performed in 1999 and 2001 at Gallery. It was the only show that we have on record that I'm aware of, at least, that in the 2001 production, we sold out the entire run of the show before it opened.
Really?
I was
Wow.
told that
Incredible.
reliable sources.
Not too
it's been-
pressure.
Right, not to put too much pressure on
But that's
us.
a long time since we've done that.
I wonder
Yeah.
who directed that time.
Jane Maddox.
Oh, Jane did. Oh, okay. Bless her.
So-
Yeah.
Now, do you have a concept? Wizard of Oz is
Yeah.
What's your
So
what's
when
your angle?
when Jane did it, she tried to basically just reproduce the movie straight up. She wanted it to be for the people that loved the film.
Yeah.
I'm taking it from a little bit different perspective as somebody who grew up loving the film, but knowing that you can't always achieve that on stage.
Okay.
So our Kansas is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going for the sepia tone black and white if everything works out. And then when we get to Oz, we're going to go a little bit more steampunk and have a little bit more fun.
There was a balloon
Oh, boy.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is like,
So yeah, we're gonna see how it works out. It's gonna be. We have Sadie Williams, who is our new costume shop manager, and Ashley Bertolini are gonna be doing costumes for the show.
Well, they're gonna have fun with that.
So they're gonna have a good time. We've got a lot of people working on it and designing, and the stuff I've seen so far looks great.
And the cast, you've cast.
We've cast. We've
maybe
not.
you have a few
Open.
openings. Do you have? Or you're all?
Oh no, we had 64 people audition for what ended up being a 38-person cast.
Oh.
So we ended up having to say no to a lot of people,
Oh, ouch.
which, as a director, that's the part I hate the
I hate,
most. I'm
yeah,
sure
cutting
you.
people.
It's especially because it is all volunteer, and you want to be able to use everybody. But the reality is, you can't fit 64 people onto our stage and not have it look really crowded and.
and it's hard with little kids too. Who
With
wanna-
little kids,
and-
with the amount of money that we work in our budgets, trying to put
Costumes.
on 64 people,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to see that one too.
So then we move back to the Arena
Back
Theater,
to Sordid Lives.
back to Texas for Sordid Lives.
This is, they asked if I wanted to do this one. I guess a lot of people had said they'd like to see this one done again. And of course, we know who was one of the stars in it. What was his name? Oh, Ken Moore. That's right.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
That was one of the greatest times of my life.
I bet.
Yeah. And nobody did it better. I've seen it other times. Anyway, it was wonderful.
Fishnet stockings, high heels,
I
a blonde
know.
wig. I had hair.
You were the most beautiful Tammy Wynette
Oh,
I have
you
ever
were.
seen.
Oh, my
But the
God.
scene with Brother Boy and the psychiatrist was done so beautifully, and it was done so well. It was touching.
You
I
know,
people
remember.
want to see it again.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
I think
They do.
the real selling point of that one, I mean, the tagline on the show is a black comedy about white trash.
Yeah.
But I think the real selling point of that show is the heart to it.
Yes,
Because
I
that
agree.
last scene when the family all comes together is so touching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
and when they bring, oh, I don't want to be a spoiler. When they
Right.
bring Brother Boy back, though, and the reconciliation, one of my favorite scenes, because remember I took
That's
Christy's
right.
part the closing
Christy
night.
was getting,
she got an award.
The teachers,
Yeah,
the
wonderful
Education
award.
Association gave her Volunteer Woman of the Year
Yes.
that night on closing.
Right.
No, it was the night
It was
before
closing
It was
night.
closing night.
And I said, go, do it, and I'll
And
take it.
You filled in.
But, the scene with her son in that one part is one of the more touching scenes.
Yeah.
I loved playing that part, where her son is finally telling her that he's gay, and she says, I know you are. I know her all the time. So what else is, I just, the conversation in the script was beautiful on that one. But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and it was one of those that I don't know if you remember that, but sometimes you're kind of glad to have a show finished just because it's a lot of work and you're ready to go on and do something else. On that one, I think all of us were really
Could
hoping
have
we
done
could
it a
do
little
it
longer.
a little longer
It was really fun.
because it was a lot of fun.
You
And
know,
so,
that was one of the most fun backstage experiences I've ever had.
oh, and so
just
we can
working on the
segue
crew.
right into the volunteers that we need.
Right?
Let's do a plug for that
Really,
right now.
because
Stage
working
managers.
backstage is a lot of fun, and you have a routine. And like in Sordid Lives, we change scenes 4 times, total change of scenery. So we have to move a a couch off and a bar
Yeah.
on and a
You're moving a
jukebox
house
on and
into a bar, into a psychiatrist office, into a funeral parlor.
And so it takes personnel, but backstage, when you sit, you kind of bond together,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it's time for you to go out and do your
You
thing,
do your
and then you
thing,
come
yeah.
back, and then you get to see the actors all running around in the back, and it's a lot of fun, really,
It's a
for
really
people
fun
who don't
way
want to
to
act.
be able to participate and still be a part of.
Without acting.
There's a reason we call it the gallery family.
And
Like,
I'll put
it-
in a plug
it
for
really is.
For Carolyn, you're an excellent director, and you keep it fun, and you keep it done well.
Oh, well,
and
thank
anyone
you.
that comes to work with you will be greatly rewarded and happy they did.
Well, I try to be organized and not waste people's time. I
Yes,
think
you
that's
are.
probably my
Organized.
biggest thing.
Yes,
I
you
mean,
are.
I'm not Ted Diesel, but I try not to waste people's time. Being a teacher and stuff, I'm used to being organized.
Yeah.
But I do like it. You're volunteering your time. You should have a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, we've got like 4 minutes left.
Oh my goodness.
Good, we can move
All right,
right
so
on.
quick
We already
plug.
talked about the God game.
Okay.
Oh, Footloose.
When it comes to volunteers, though, we do have a brand new volunteer coordinator at the
Okay.
at the theater. Her name is Dinah Sayers, and if you're interested, you should reach out to her. It's galleryvc@onlinemac.com is the email address. Gallery VC as in volunteer coordinator.
Okay.
And she is phenomenal and will get you hooked up.
Okay. All right. We got to
And,
race.
and
Right.
yeah, auditions will be coming
So-
in February for my show, so we need
Okay.
people.
In September, we're going to do Footloose, which we last did in 2004, which is the first show I did at Gallery Theater as an adult.
Oh, I remember that. And then Kathleen
And
Vanderveer. is
Kathleen
going to-
Vanderveer choreographed it for us last time. She will be director choreographer
directing
this
it
time.
This time,
Kathleen
Kathleen
Vanderveer.
Oh,
Vanderveer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, she
Yeah.
was choreographer last time. This time she's going to do
Oh,
both.
okay.
That's really going to be fantastic.
and
lots of fun for
Lots of
teenagers.
fun. Well, and
kids
as the owner of a
and-
dance studio, you know that the dancing in this show is going to be absolutely
good.
phenomenal. So
Right.
I'm really excited to sit and watch that one this time.
And relax and enjoy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to the back to the Arena Theater with the God Game, which is a political dramedy about a Republican senator who is being tapped to be the vice presidential nominee on the ticket, and it's
And
He-
he's
and he has a problem.
is he an atheist?
he is an atheist,
And his wife is.
and his wife is not.
Not,
And
and-
the central question of the show is, can somebody who does not profess a faith in God be a viable candidate in this country?
And they try to make him alter his views to fit with, and the whole thing, to me, the gist of it is him wrestling with his inability to do that and stay true to himself. His monologue at the end of it is, Lance Nutman was playing the lead, Seth played the other one, but when we did it readers form, wonderful writing
It's
on that monologue.
it's an incredible script.
It really is.
The author's name is Suzanne Bradbeer, and she it is a beautiful, beautiful show.
It really is. It's very timely, too.
So then we get to
And
close
then-
out the season with the show that we did a audience survey, asking people what they were interested in us doing. And the number one choice for holiday show was It's a Wonderful Life. So we are bringing Debbie Harmon back. The last time we did this
2 years
show.
in Roses.
I know. Last time we did It's a Wonderful Life, it was directed by Jane Maddox, and Debbie played Mary Bailey. This time, Debbie's going to be directing it for us. And I'm personally very excited to see the show. I love that movie.
Well, it's going to
a
be
good season, I think. I think they've done a very good job in selecting a
to
nice variety.
celebrate 50 years. Well, I would challenge anybody that has any interest in this in the Gallery Theater to see every show.
See it, and then
I
be
was
part of
there.
it
Yeah.
some way.
And be part of it.
And if you come see every show, you can then fill out a ballot for our awards night.
Oh, yes.
Talk about it.
Well, each year then we have a panel of jurors who have seen all the shows, and then they select the ones that they like best. And then we have a big celebration, Oscar-like award show, which usually takes place it always takes place early January of the next year. So that's a fun part of that.
Well, you two have been, like I said, stalwarts in the theater for many years. What keeps you coming back? What's going on there?
I love it. I'm a real believer in what this theater does for people. It changes lives. As a director, when I cast somebody, it's a gift because it changed your life. You take on a role,
Yeah.
and then you interact with a group of people, and you never forget those people. You're like a family, and you see when you talk and they get together again, it's like a bonding. I'd say it's not unlike a football team that plays together, wins a championship, or plays well, and then they come together. I mean, it's a chance for people to explore who they are. I mean, the talent, look at, what would you do? You've got the beautiful singing voice, and you're a good actor. Where would you do it? If you're working, you know, and that's what it gives you, plus what it does for children. That's why I'm a real believer in it. These kids who grow up in our theater and go on to be, great adults, some of them involved in theater.
Yeah.
And I did Cheaper by the Dozen that number of years ago, and I just looked at all my kids that are all grown up now, and it's just family. That's what it is.
family.
It's family, and that's what it is. That's
All
why
right.
we come back.
Thank you so much for being part of that family and leading it.
Yeah,
And
well,
thank
it's
you
always fun to
also.
talk about something you love. Yeah, thank you.